Hello. Today I want to talk about the obstacles of understanding spirituality. Why is it so hard to get? Why is it so hard to understand the most basic, simple things about the most important thing, which is the quality of our life? Why is it so difficult to really grasp this wisdom that comes from beyond time, actually, that is more in the flow of how we should live, um, and we don't get it. So I believe it's for a specific reason. I believe it's because we are trying to understand this with our mind. When you try to grasp things which are timeless with the mind, which is living in time, you're actually not in a space where you can create understanding, or it's beyond understanding. The mind wants to understand, it wants to make sense, yet it's not in that realm. And I know it sounds very weird, or maybe perhaps not clear at this moment. But let me try to clarify. Mind always lives in time. There are no thoughts outside of time. Every time you think, you are in time. You are thinking about something, it's a moment in time. Even if it's about the next moment, or even if it's about like reaching out, grab something, still a moment in time. Uh, why is that? Because the mind is the only thing that creates and perceives time. Outside the mind, there is no time. What is there? It's the space in which we live, the present moment. The present moment has no thoughts. It has no time. We can not access any moment in time unless it's in the mind, where every time you think about the future, it's some illusions in time about the future. And if you're thinking about the past, it is memories of something that is not here and now. It is in the now where we live. And this now has no thoughts in it. No thoughts whatsoever to access the present moment. This present moment is thoughtless. So all spiritual wisdom is pointing to the here and now, yet um, the mind, since it lives in time, is pointing to a different understanding than we can grasp. So it distances itself from trying to understand, from grasping it, because it says this does not make sense. And yet it lives in time. So when you are always thinking in those terms of how to understand this, how to approach this, what does this all mean? You're losing it. You're not grasping it. The only realm in which you can get it is in the here and now, which is really to feel it. It's an experiential motion. If I speak to you about the taste of an apple, I can speak to you about it for an hour, explain to you how it tastes, the texture and the experience of it. But unless you taste it, you will never know. So understanding it is with the mind. I give you explanations, but to experience it is to grab the apple and to bite it in the present moment. And then knowing comes. There's no need for explanation. So actually, to experience spirituality, we have to always come back to the present moment, always center to the core of our being, and then access it from there. So every time, for example, you meditate, when you meditate, it's about anchoring into the present moment. It's about removing thoughts and coming back to the here and now, removing thoughts, right? This is the purpose of meditation. You don't have to do it long. Sometimes you just need to do it for a few minutes, sometimes for 2 seconds. 2 conscious breaths is enough to access to the present moment. I have in my book, The Art of Not Knowing, I put like a list of things which I use to access the here and now. I call them anchors to the present moment. It could be smelling a flower, right? You can never smell something later, and therefore it is an anchor to the now. You can never hear something later, and therefore if you hear a bird chirping, it's a wonderful moment to center into the here and now, to anchor into the present moment, and to let go of the thoughts. You don't have to interpret what bird is this? Where am I? You don't have to create mind in it. You just have to enjoy uh, the essence of another creature, another being chirping for your pleasure. Um, and it gives you an access to the present moment. It gives you an access to the joy that comes with being present with life. And when you access the present moment, there are no problems, no issues in life. In my journey, I always try to be present, always to not create time. I never say, how will the future look like, or it will be better one day, or all these things, all these motions in time. We distance ourselves from living life. As only if only I have this in my life, then I would be satisfied. Some people say, in my retirement, I'll start living. Uh, and of course, life is here and now, not in the future. Mine always living in time, and therefore it pushes towards those other places, pushes towards not understanding, which is so basic and rudimentary and accessible in the here and now. Nothing could be achieved in the future. You can never achieve anything in the future because you can never find yourself in the future. To understand spiritual wisdom is only in the present moment. If you say to yourself, I'm not advanced enough to understand, maybe in the future I'll get it. Maybe in the future this will be my life. Again, you are distancing yourself from understanding and distancing yourself from enjoying life, because this is what the mind is doing. It's lying to you to push you away from deeply grasping that if you follow your heart and let go of the mind, you will find yourself enjoying life to the fullest. So this was a brief explanation on the here and now and why it's important to uh, try to always access spiritual wisdom from that place. It's about letting go of thoughts, coming back to the present moment. If you hear any spiritual wisdom from my videos, from books, from other sources, don't try to understand it with the mind. Try to understand it with the heart. Embrace that knowledge and see if it rings like truth. If it rings like truth, it will never feel like it's something new. It would never feel like I'm revealing to you new information that you never knew before. It feels like you kind of knew this before. It feels like I'm shining a light to someplace inside us that was hidden in darkness, but it was always there. And this is the most interesting thing about spiritual wisdom. When you shine a light, you become aware, then there are no more excuses, because then you know. Then you know. You don't have to understand it. You know it deeper. It's a deeper source. And if you grasp that from a deeper source, you can never unsee it, because anything you see could never be unseen. If I show you this bottle, you see how full it is. Now I remove to you this bottle from view. You don't have to need to convince you how full it is. I cannot change your mind because you already saw it. So it's about feeling it's an experiential motion of seeing something, understanding the truth inside it, and then letting it be a part of our lives. I hope this was interesting. Let me know if you have questions, if you want to hear more about this, if you're having difficulties on this journey and you want to talk to someone, I'm here. Please ask questions, subscribe to the channel. Read my book if you want to get more. The Art of Not Knowing, a practical guide to spiritual awakening. Probably a link will be below. And thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.